Hello, my name is Allison. I am the mother of a child who has ADHD. He is now 16 and he's old enough where he's past all those moments of hard moments, even though it continues, but it's easier. He's 16 today, and not today, but at the present time, he's 16, and he's come a long way. So the purpose of this video is for all the ones who have smaller children. The one thing I could tell you is it's important to seek the help for your child. If you see something that just doesn't seem right, if you see patterns of him in the learning area, like he's not learning, or if you see him that, you can clearly see that something's not right, don't hesitate to go get him checked out, because it doesn't hurt. It's more beneficial that you get him checked out and there's nothing wrong versus there is something wrong and you let it go. Because the longer you let it go, the more harder it's going to be to treat your child, because he's growing and he's learning more, and he's, it's just, you want to get him the help when he's little as you can, when you start noticing certain things. So my son was diagnosed when he was 7. The daycare, or in the park, should I say, the park, after school park, the lady had said, your son does things a little bit off the wall. You might want to take him to therapy just to make sure everything's okay. Now, some parents would have gone off deep end and yelled at the girl and told her off and told her, don't tell me what I need to do with my kid. But you know what? Sometimes the outsiders see things that we don't, because we're involved with our children all day, every day. On the other hand, we are the ones who are involved, and we also know a lot of the things that most outsiders don't. So it's like a double-edged sword there. But so anyway, I took him to therapy, and soon after that, they said let's take him in for evaluation, and that's how he was evaluated. And it wasn't once, but twice, because I did it in the school also. And what did I do? I was a fireball. I immediately got him the help that he needed by putting him on therapy. I researched, read, and learned as much as I could on ADHD as soon as I could, so I could be a better help to my son. And one of the things I learned and I started doing was, which I did way before he was even diagnosed, I would always study his mind. And I knew there was something a little bit off. So, and this is why I'm telling you, if you see something a little bit off, get it checked out. He would do things that are off the wall. He would pull down his pants in the middle of wherever, or he would go and try to beat up a soda machine, and it wasn't anger that he was angry at anything. It was just the energy that he had. He didn't know where to expel it, so he would just do stupid things to get attention, and I guess that was his way. But anyway, so I took him for the help, and after I learned a lot, everything, I started, just studying more his mind and figuring out why he does certain things, and what works, and what triggers it, and what calms him. And I just started doing all those studies on my kid. And, I learned a lot. And this is why I want to share this, because every child is different. No child is the same. Every child learns differently. Every child has their own mind, and they perceive situations and has certain views of their own, because we're all human and we're all different. But there are certain things that you could pick up and learn about your child that's very valuable throughout this journey. One of the things are, see what triggers your son's impulsive moments, because most ADHDers have impulsive moments. Once you detect what triggers it, you could find other routes around it. And you'll see that those moments will slowly, as much as you work on it, as much as you learn what triggers it, you'll see how they will start lessening. Will they end? For a while, no. Can they end? With the right therapy and constant reinforcement? Absolutely. You know why? My son doesn't have him anymore. He hasn't had him in maybe 3 years. He's the most calmest kid you'll ever find. You would never in your wildest dreams ever think or believe that he was once that kid who ran all over, who was up and down, who didn't stop, who would drop his pencil a gazillion times, who would eat dinner on the table and fly all around the house every chew he took. that was my kid. And today, you would never believe it. But it took me a lot of work. It for sure wasn't easy. And this is why I want to share with parents with little ones how important, number one, is get your kid on therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. Listen, I learned so much about ADHD that I knew how to apply ABA therapy to my son all the way until today. Okay, I'm still doing it, and I'll explain to you how I do it. So the therapist would come to my house and evaluate us, and I would give him all the information, and I would show him all the work that I've done, and pull out the plan that I use, the system, should I say, that I use. And they would always look at me and say, "Mom, why do you have a therapist? You're doing exactly what we're gonna do." And I always said the same thing. "Well, you're getting paid, right?" And it would be like, "Yeah, but it doesn't make sense." I said, "Yes, to me it makes sense." Why? Because my son has somebody to go to in case something's bothering him and he doesn't want to tell mom. You're the therapist. You know how to get things out. So we went on and he got his therapy. But I kept him on therapy all the way till he was 12 years old. I did not have him on medication until he was 10. At 10 years old, I put him on medication, and by the age of 12, that was it. 2 short years. I worked very hard from 7 to 10 on the basic fundamentals of what I needed him to do. What did I start with, or how did I start? Well, I implemented a behavioral reward system. And for me, it's magic, okay? He's 16 today, and we still do it. My grandkids are on it. No matter what kid comes around me, I implement that. That's the only way I know. I don't know any other way. Oh, you want this? Okay, well, come here. Let's go ahead and tell me your name. Let me hear you say ABCs or something, then I'll give them the reward, whatever they want. Or simple little things like that. Listen, kids are fun. They don't demand much. They're happy with the smallest little things because their hearts are so innocent still. So you could really mold them at those younger ages, because they're so flexible in mind-wise, meaning they'll accept things that older kids may not. So I implemented the plan, and the first thing I worked on was sitting at the table. Yeah. So my son couldn't sit at the kitchen table to eat dinner, but I worked on it. Now, I know a lot of parents, once you hear the reward system, you probably already said, "That don't work. I've tried it. It doesn't work. This lady don't know what she's talking about." Well, let me tell you, the trick is you got to give it time. It's not going to work in a day, a couple of days, a week, a month, not even maybe 2 months. Sometimes it takes about 10 weeks, more or less, to get that one little struggle that you want to get in line. Okay, it's constant, it's consistency and persistence. You got to keep with the same exact routine that you started with. You got to keep on. "Okay, Jonathan, we're going to eat dinner now. You must sit at the table." My son's name is Jeremiah, so we'll use his name. "Jeremiah, you need to sit at the table." Okay, you need to eat at the table. Once you're done eating, you don't have to wait till we're done. You can go ahead and get down and go play. Okay? Every single day, the same thing. When he's ready to get up, when you see that he's moving to get up, you stop it. You whoa, wait a minute. Now, the deal to make him do that, what's the incentive? Well, pretty much anything. In my world, what it is, he would have to earn bucks. At the end of the week, he could turn those bucks in and do whatever he wants. He might be able to go, whatever's in that value, he could either go to the store and buy a little something. He can go ahead and buy an ice cream. He could save it. Whatever his little heart desires. That's his reward that he earned. Now, I know a lot of parents are going to say, "Well, you shouldn't raise your kid learning that if he does something, there's a reward at the end." Well, let me explain to you why I'm totally against those remarks. Why? Because listen, in life, everything is in return, okay? What do I mean? Well, you start the kid off on the reward system. You let him know if he is good behaved, if he behaved well, or if he did his chores, or whatever it is you have on that plan. If he is successful at completing it, there's a reward at the end, okay? And they will work for that reward because they want the reward, not because you want them to complete something. Trust me, they're not doing it to complete. But there's a win-win-win situation when you do that. What do I mean? Well, you want your kid to improve in something. Your child wants the reward. In return of him getting that reward, he's really getting another reward. He's learning. He's learning something. He's completed and achieved something that was hard for him to do at first. Okay, that's an achievement. Okay, he needs to be rewarded and recognized for that. You recognize and uplift your children. When they do good, you applaud them. When they do bad, you don't put them down. You say, let's see how we can make it better. How can we improve you? What help do you need? Find the tools and give him the tools that he needs to succeed. Find routes that's going to bring him interest in trying something new to try to make him successful in whatever he's trying to do. You know, a lot of times parents, you know, they think that, you know, things aren't going to work. But I tell you, with persistence and consistency, it will. So getting back to what I was saying, so the kid gets the reward, right? Well, look, let's move forward into adulthood. Okay, well, you go to work. You dedicate 40 plus hours in your job a week. What do you get at the end of the week? You get compensated. You get your reward. You worked for it. You earned it. The same exact concept of the reward system. Same thing. There is no difference. Nobody could tell me there's a difference. It's just in the magnitude is different. The end result is different. You're working for, you know, something to improve your behavior. Well, when you work, and at the end, it's teaching him a valuable lesson in life. That in life, you must earn. You must earn your spot in society. You must earn your spot. You must earn your grades in school. You must earn your diploma in college. You must earn your paycheck at the end of the week for dedicating your time and laboring and sweating and all that you do when you work. I mean, it's the same thing. Anyway, that's how I raised my son. And I would work on one task at a time. The kid sitting at the kitchen table was the very first lesson I tried. And ladies and mommies and grandmas and anyone in between, dads, grandpas, uncles, aunts. Listen, this is possible. It really, really is possible. You just have to, you got to give it time. You know, the kid will eventually give in. You keep pushing and you keep that you tell him this is the rule and I'm not going back. And you can't do one day yes and one day no, because it doesn't work that way and you're defeating the purpose of trying to get to your goal. So you have to do it the same way every single day and not give up. And eventually the kid is going to give in. And he's gonna start accepting your offers, okay? And you have to find things that he likes, that he wants, that interests him. If he says, you know, hey mom, when I say him, it could be a girl or a boy. I'm talking about both, but I'm just using him because I'm so used to talking about my son. You know, if he wants a PlayStation card, for example, for the little bit older ones. Oh, you want a PlayStation card? Okay, well, I need you to do this and this and this and this. And then you'll get that. You know what? They're probably pissed off that they got to do this, but at the end, they're doing it to get their reward. And what happens? They did the work, you're happy, and they get the reward. So again, it's that win-win-win situation, and it takes time. It takes dedication. I know sometimes, you know, there's homes that are broken, but you got to somehow collaborate with mom and dad, and both of you run the homes as best you can on doing the same thing. You know, if he's an 8 o'clock sleeper, keep him on that 8 o'clock schedule. Don't break it, because once you break it, it's hard to bring him back. You know, it takes a few days to bring him back, and then he goes with dad again, and it's like a cycle, and you're always fighting against it. So the best thing you could do is be on the same page the best you can. I know some parents, they go head to head and none of them want to budge, and that makes it hard, not only on you, but you're doing damage to your kid by having it done that way. You got to do it simultaneously. You got to do whatever you do at home and in school and outside of the home at other places. It kind of all needs to sync. Is it easy to do? Absolutely not. But if you enforce it and request it and explain why, most people will adapt to it. And that's what I did. And everybody listened until today. They still do. And I have that system with my granddaughters. They know nothing in grandma's house is free. You want something? We got to make a video. We make videos for cancer patients as well. In this case, it's about ADHD because I've done it for so long. And then I became a cancer patient and I converted over there. And I uplift those ladies every single day. I make my own videos and the whole 9 yards. So sometimes I get them involved and then they get the reward that they want. So again, the reward system is great. Okay? Then you be your kids, I'm not going to say friend because you're not their friend, but let them understand that you're the parent that they could really trust. Okay? If you tell mommy the truth, mommy's not going to be mad. If you tell mommy a lie, of course I'm going to get mad because you didn't tell me the truth. Now, you let them know and you show them and you prove it to them, and it's going to be a no-brainer that they're going to start telling you the truth because they see that they're not going to get in so much trouble as if they lied to you. And that's how my son is too. He'll give me he'll try to get over on me, but mom is so smart and understand his brain so well that I could tell you, I know when he's lying to me and I know when he's not. There's certain things. The other day, he did a little incident that he wasn't supposed to. And he called me up. He wanted to see how I'm doing. Where was I? Why wasn't I home yet? And he was persistent. And something told me something wasn't right. So when I got home, I started snooping around. Not on his things, just in the house in general. And I found. And he got busted. Why? Because I connect with his brain. And that's what we got to do. Some people say, well, how the heck do you connect to your brain? I can't explain it. I don't know. I'm a photographer. I deal with children with ADHD and autism, and I just know how to relate to their brains. I don't know. I just know how to do it. And that's why I'm able to pass my information that I learned over the years. And not only did I see it in my kids, listen, I got therapists on the reward system that I made. I mean, they asked me for the packet and I gave it a parent-to-parent organization. I showed it to them. I kept in contact with them all the way until my son was 14 on his progress. They were like so proud of when I went there, how desperate I was to seek help and learn to the outcome years later of what a great kid this kid was built to be. Because I tell parents all the time, I didn't raise my kid, I built my kid. Who he is today, I built. And he's respectful. Everybody loves him. They love his character. They love how he carries himself. He's that type that offers help without having to be told. He's just this amazing kid that he turned out to be. And it is who he is. But a lot of it has to do with how I raised him, what I exposed him to when he was little, how I addressed his issues. And I could tell you, okay, moms and dads out there, grandmas, grandpas, uncles, aunts, this kid would do things and I always found out in a snap. And I told him over the years, I said, listen, you can't hide from me because I'm going to find out. Something is going to trigger in my brain that something's off and I'm going to find out. And every time I do. Now, when I do, he only does it one time. It never happens again. That is the end of it. It never appears again. And then he'll move on to something else. But he's an awesome kid. Listen, people beg me, okay, to send my son to their house because of how funny he is. He's a comic. He will make you laugh. If you're sad, he knows how to bring you up. He's got this character that just everybody wants to be around. I'm honored about that. That doesn't mean that I get the praise for that because that's just who he is inside. I don't have, that's God's makeup. But as far as guiding him to where he needs to be and how to be a respectful young man and how to apply his challenge in a positive way, you know, that's my doing. That is what he was raised in the environment that he was raised in was that, and I'm proud of that. And today he's on his way. He's just got one more year of high school. Is it still a challenge? Absolutely. I have to be behind him because he has a girlfriend now and, you know, she takes up his time. But I finally got it sunk into his brain that all he has to do is when he's at his girlfriend's house, which I really shouldn't have told him this, he could go ahead and study at her house. He should have automatically known that. But anyway, he's finally got where the parents are going to go ahead and make time just for them two to study. and it's gonna bring his grades up. He's all C's right now, because of lack of he being lazy, and he knows. And I push him, and I don't give up. Parents, the one thing you can never do is never give up on your child. If you give up on their child, you are setting them up for failure of life. It is so important to be their backbone, to be their voice, and to be the one who's there to rescue them when things go wrong. Because they need that one person who truly understands and truly they confide in. And you have to be that person. It shouldn't be anybody else. It shouldn't be a therapist. It shouldn't be anybody else outside the home. It should be, in my opinion, mom, because you're the mother. If it's dad, then by all means let it be dad. But that one person who they can confide in, you got to hear them talk. Sometimes they get annoying because they ramble on and on and on and on. But you just need to maybe make a certain time where you guys could talk and he could express and do all that good stuff. And oftentimes we don't need to put a schedule on it. Just let them talk and listen to them. Their opinion values. They have feelings. They have emotions, and they want to express the happy moments that they had, or maybe the sad moments they had throughout the day, or maybe what's bothering them. You got to listen to the kids. I know they can get annoying because they ramble on, but they're curious. They want to learn. And if you again implement this reward system, you're gonna find out that it is like magic. Okay, I only talked about sitting at the table, but you move on to the next step. Once you move to the next step and you're all done with sitting at the table, it now becomes an accustomed thing. You don't have to tell him anymore. He knows he needs to sit at the table to eat. That you don't need any more rewards. Now you move to the next reward. Okay, well, okay, Jeremiah, I need you to put your shoes in the same place with your book bag every day when you get home from school. Now, we all know that our kids are scatterbrains. They leave the crap all over. My son still does. I failed at that miserably, but trust me, I tried. I gave it my all. I got a number 1 in effort, but I failed there. Okay. But yet he's clean at his girlfriend's house and he helps clean over there. So I don't know. But you move on to that. Okay. Once he's accustomed to putting his shoes and book bag in the same place, now it becomes a repetitive thing and he knows that's what he's got to do when he comes home. Okay. Then you move on to the next thing. And I say the next thing because work on only one task at a time. Don't jumble his mind, make him succeed at 2 and 3 things at once, because all you're doing is messing him up and twisting everything around. Work on one thing at a time and you'll see the benefits that will come out of it in about 18 months, because I'm sure there's not that many things that he does terribly wrong. In about 18 months, you should really see a big turnaround. I sent out a packet to parents. I used the reward bucks. Listen, in the classroom, I made my son desk reminders, and they were reminders of when it's time to be quiet, raise your hand, you could do it, like motivational signals and sayings. Of course, he was able to read at that time because he was in 3rd grade. And so he was able to understand when the teacher came by, she didn't have to call his name out. All she had to do was point to whatever she needed him to do, whether it was to be quiet or raise your hand or whatever it was. And she didn't have to call his attention. Now listen, the teachers have a lot of students, okay? I get it. I really do. But when you have a child on a 504 plan and needs special attention, the teacher needs to make accommodations for that child. Yes, it is hard. But you know what, ladies and grandmas and dads and everybody who's listening, we play a big part in that. And what we could help the teacher with is going to help her help our child. Okay, so I would give the teacher the little reward stickers, bucks, and she would tape it to. I had to have a daily log of what went on that day. If it's a happy face with a buck, he did good. If there was no buck and a sad face, then I know he didn't do so good. And that would communicate daily with the teacher and I. And then I know I had to motivate him for the next day. And yes, it's not always a perfect day for kids. They're kids after all. So there were times, absolutely, that he had days where he didn't do so well, but it's not really because he did anything horribly bad. Maybe he just didn't listen to the teacher when she said his name the first time, whatever. But so you don't punish them for that. You just work with them on it. But yes, the punishment was he didn't get a reward buck. So, then they don't get a reward that week. So it takes time, and, like teachers don't always understand, and they don't always have time to take that extra time. So again, we parents, if we provide them with some of the tools to make their job a little bit easier, I think it's a good thing. Again, the desk reminders worked well for my son. She would just go, instead of saying, my son's name is Louis Jeremiah. In home, we call him Jeremiah, but obviously in school, they call him Louis. So the teacher would have to say, Louis, she wouldn't have to call Louis, hey, are you paying attention? No, all she had to do was walk by his desk and point to whatever cue she needed him to do, and he knew what he needed to do. Now, a lot of times, teachers don't get that. These kids, all they need is a walk around the classroom sometimes to dispel that energy. And then they'll sit down and be good for another 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes. And then and by that time, you're going to get up and move anyway, hopefully. Then they need another little break. So if teachers would understand a little bit more and have a little bit more compassion of learning of these children on why they do certain things, and instead of saying, oh my God, I can't wait till this year's over, this kid is horrible. No kid should be labeled that way. No kid should be said that they are horrible, they're out of control. Yes, there are some that do need medication. I'm for it. I'm a believer that you try to work with them and do the best you can before you put them on medication, and then give them medication and see how things work out. And you continue to work on the things that you worked on before they went on medication, and you continue a pattern. These kids like stability. It's very important to give them stability, to give them routine. They like routine. I'm sure a lot of you parents can relate to that. Routine is very important for these kids. And there's so many other things that, I could sit and talk about, but the video will go on for a long time, and I don't want to bore everybody and not let you have the ability or the time to see this entire video. But our kids are amazing. Listen, your kid is going to grow up fine. As long as you get the help he needs, he's going to be fine. Teach him, give him the tools that he needs to succeed, lift him up, buy dry erase boards, put them around the house, always at the child's level. When he does good, make a huge deal about it. Some people think it's not necessary. Yes, it is. It pumps them up to want to do it again. Okay? It takes sometimes little motivation to get a kid going. Okay, I know others are a little bit tougher, and again, it all depends on the age, but you want to start them as young as possible. So you moms out there who are just starting, listen, if you want the packet, I just need your email address. Sometimes when I get these Facebook posts, it goes into an area where I don't see that people are trying to message me or requesting to send me a message. So it may take me a while to get to you, and I'm not ignoring you. That's, if I see the message right away, then of course I respond right away. But I hope this video helps. There's lots more that I could talk about, but little by little, it's a road that is not easy. Okay, it's a road that is a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of hard work. You got to be, again, consistent and persistent. You got to keep on until you reach where you're trying to go. Okay, you must be the winner in this. And once you're the winner, your child at the end of the line will be the winner, because we're doing it for them. We're not doing it for us. Okay, we want to give them as much help we can now before they reach adulthood. Whatever we could do for our children, and that's what I said from the beginning. I'm going to do everything I need to do now so my son doesn't suffer when he's an adult. When I release him to society at 18 years old, I don't want him to have those struggles that could happen. So I made sure I worked very, very, very hard to get him to where he's at, and I addressed every issue on the drop of a dime, never let it go happen twice. And that's just the way we have to be with these kids, and you'll see you will have a successful, proud child who's going to be proud of you, actually, for putting up with them and allowing them to develop their way, but with your guidance. And you'll see, my son tells me all the time he appreciates what I do for him and what I've done. God bless you, everybody. Believe in your kids. Never give up. Know that one day they will be the leader in something. They might be the leader of a home, the leader of a company, the leader of the world, the leader of whatever. Always keep that in mind. what you're raising today can make a big difference in tomorrow's future. Thank you.